Hi everyone, let's create, appreciate, and F that hate. Welcome back to Nikkaflora. I hope you guys are enjoying the cold weather because I know that I am. I actually bought some coats and even a new blanket, so I'm very much prepared for this upcoming new season. But let's move on to why we're here though. So for today's video, I thought that it'd be interesting to share 5 things to write about if you're bored AF. I know that a lot of people are staying inside, so this idea is perfect. I've also written more information about this on my blog. It's my newest blog post, which is also called 5 things to write about if you're bored AF. The same title as this video. Feel free to click on the link in the description below if you'd like to know more, and I'd pretty much appreciate it. It'll take you directly to my website, and you can check out the other blog posts too if you're interested as well. So for the first thing on this list, you can actually write about the kind of relationships that you want to have. If you're not happy with the people in your life right now, you can actually write about the people that you want to be surrounded by because it will help you visualize and eventually manifest what you really want. So for the longest time, I thought that I didn't really have control over anyone that entered my life. It took years for me to realize that until, I just eventually learned and realized that while we do meet people unexpectedly, we do have the power to choose whoever gets to stay in our lives. So this writing exercise actually helped me have a more positive mindset, and I'd say that my mindset is the reason why I have my amazing friends today. And honestly, having high quality people in your life really makes a positive impact. The second thing on my list is to write about what you want your financial future to look like, and this is subjective, so that means it'll be different for everyone. So in my past experience, I noticed that I had a cycle of making money and then eventually that I would lose it afterwards, but more specifically, I'd spend a lot of my money. I think this is kind of a common habit for people. But it got to a point where I actually became broke for years. And I didn't have enough food at times, so my friends and my family, they stepped in to help feed me. But because of that experience, I decided to write about how I even got to that point, the reasons why I've gotten to that point. I just basically self-reflected, and it helped me see what kind of bad habits that I accumulated back then. I also feel like when you write something down, you're aware of the situation and what's going on, and it's a lot easier to change it, to make changes. I've also written about what I wanted for my future, especially in regards for finance. So going through that whole process and making the necessary changes is the reason why I'm not broke anymore. And even though that situation was awful, I still think that it's important to stop and think about your current financial situation and how you could do better if you're not doing so great right now. The third thing that you can write about are your passions and interests, and I feel that this is self-explanatory. But I feel like when people actually write about this topic, they'll go in very different directions. Whenever I've written about my interests and my passions, I've written about the things that I'm most passionate for. So basically, there's just a lot of things that I would like to try. Like, for example, I would like to go hiking more often, do kickboxing. There's a bunch of things that I want to do. However, I feel that there's only like a few interests that have actually been consistent in my life. So if you have actually checked out my website and even my YouTube bio, you can obviously see that I'm into art and creative writing, hence why I'm doing this channel. And for me, I like writing about the ideas that I'd like to draw sometime, as well as noting the things that I can further improve on in general. So those are only a few ideas that you can write about for this topic. Again, feel free to click on the link in the description below to visit my blog post, and you can check out more ideas and even check out what other content that I have. Moving on, the fourth thing that you can write about are the lessons that you learned this year. So one of my friends said this kind of recently. She actually said that 2020 is the mother of all bad years. And I can see why she said that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel the same way. I have a different opinion than her, but I do think that there's something new to learn regardless of how difficult life is. So for me, one thing that I learned this year was how to be a better communicator. And I wouldn't say that I was bad at communicating, but I was just very reluctant to talk to people. And I still feel that way sometimes. I probably still will feel that way no matter what. However, there's just some circumstances in my life which actually forced me to talk to people more often. Eventually, I noticed that I was able to speak more confidently and I was able to understand people more. I think it's helpful to stop and think about the things that you learned in general, and who knows, maybe you'll be surprised at what you written down. So for the last thing on my list, you can write about the little things that make you happy. And there's actually a reason why I put this as the last thing on my list, because I have a little story behind it. So I was talking to someone recently, this nice woman who actually works with my friends sometimes. So when I saw her that day, she just came up to me and then she just asked me like, oh, hey, like, how's it going? How's your day? Like, what's going on? How's life? And then that day, so I just basically said, you know, I'm doing all right, even though it was kind of a bad day, but you know, I'm okay. And then she was just like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And then afterwards, she just said this. She was like, well, at least you got this going on, and you know, she said a few things. But the quote that really stuck out to me was when she said, you know, it's all about the little things. When I went home later that day, I was actually thinking about what she said. And it still stuck to me because what she said was actually very powerful. At first, I started thinking of green tea matcha frappuccinos because that's actually one of my favorite drinks from Starbucks or like any coffee shop. And then I started thinking about my dogs, I started thinking about food and this and that. It kind of went to like just a train of like just little things that made me happy. Honestly, I still felt awful for most of that day, but thinking about the little joys in my life makes me appreciate what's actually going right in my life. I feel that it's so easy to get stuck in negativity, because I think it's just kind of a psychological thing how we tend to remember bad experiences more rather than good experiences. And I just think that it's just important to appreciate what you got, to appreciate what's going right in your life, and, you know, just don't forget the good in life. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Join the Nikkaflora fam today by visiting nikkaflora.com and subscribe to my mailing list and my social media. Make sure to subscribe to this Nikkaflora channel and give this video a thumbs up. Click on that notification bell so that way you don't miss out on anything. And feel free to comment down below on the things that you write about whenever you're bored AF. Maybe you like to write about how you want to shapeshift into some magical dragon and make it rain fire everywhere. I don't know. That was just a joke, by the way. But anyways, I'll be back with a video next Wednesday, so I can't wait to see you guys there. Until then, let's create, appreciate, and F that hate. Bye, guys!